Welcome to Joe Sports Channel. You can follow me on Joe the Fighting J on Instagram. You can follow me on Taker Devil One hashtag Joe Sports Channel. Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls of all ages, it is August 22nd, 2020, and I hope every single human being of all ages are having a fantastic, phenomenal, successful day. For tonight's show, we have a lot to cover. We can go on for hours on end. Tonight, we're going to be recapping the Vancouver Canucks, slicing and dicing the defending champions, St. Louis Blues, and many more. But I want to bring up something very quickly for 5-10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, maybe shorter. First of all, alhamdulillah, I'm living this good life. I'm breathing on God's time and ain't going to waste one breath. About 2.5 weeks ago, my brother, Muhammad Saya, a.k.a. Mojo, finally left the hospital after 7.5+ months at University Hospital. I prayed to God that I can have one more moment with him, one more second with him, one more minute with him, one more hour with him, any minute with my brother. And God is great. When the doctors knock on your door and tell you that your brother might not make it, when the doctors tell you it's in God's hands, that's a very serious and risky surgery. But I believed in God, and I still continue to believe in God every single day. I looked at my mother. I looked at my father. I looked at my grandparents. There was tears coming down their eyes. Tears were coming down Joe Booney's eyes. But I had this feeling my brother will make all these surgeries. 13+ surgeries. 13+ surgeries. And he's standing upstairs, still cheering on his team, the Montreal Canadiens, and he's looking like a sexy damn piñata. My brother is not only a warrior, but he's a fighter, and he never, ever will give up. Like John Cena says on a daily basis, never, ever give up. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Have a crush on yourself before you have a crush on others. Last night, I had the opportunity to record my brother and talk about the Montreal Canadiens game. Briefly, in a minute or so, I will bring up that video and you can see what my brother has gone through and what he had to say about the Montreal Canadiens. You know, we were wrong about the Canadiens, but that's all right. Having a video with my brother, we were not 2 meters apart. We were not 6 feet apart. We were side by side, like brothers of Destructor, like Kane and The Undertaker. I'm so excited. I'm pumped up. It feels like the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup, but this is better energy. This energy comes from my brother. I'm putting my A game 110% for my brother because my brother does every single damn thing in this world. Let's show you guys. Welcome to Joe Sports Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, it is August 21st, 2020. Is this real? Is this real? Is this a statue? Brother Mojo, alhamdulillah as-salami, man.
Allah yasalma.
It's good to be with you, man. It really is good to be with you.
It's good to be with you too, man.
My friend, you're out of the hospital.
Yep.
Would you rather be in the hospital or be home? I think that's a stupid question, but I want to ask you that anyways.
Home.
Home. And when you're home, how do you feel?
A lot better.
Feel a lot better. What are you, 100% now?
95.
95%. You're 5% off. That's not too bad, man. And I always pray to God
to have another opportunity with you, to have a video with you, put on my show, to go watch a London Knights game and have a good time. And my friend, God is great. God is good. Alhamdulillah, I'm living this good life. I'm breathing on God's time, and I ain't going to waste one breath. Mo, altogether, from that first fall, how many injuries do you have and how many surgeries?
13.
13 surgeries. And look at you. You're back at the top of the mountain.
Yes, I am.
35 years old, like a sexy pinata, like Chris Jericho says.
Yes, yes.
Tonight, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the Montreal Canadiens are in jeopardy. They're down 3-2 in the series against the Philadelphia Flyers. Mo, who's winning between the Flyers and Canadiens, and why?
Canadians.
And why?
Because I hate the Flyers.
Do you think the Montreal Canadiens have all of what it takes to beat the Flyers today?
Yes.
And if there's a Game 7, Sunday, who do you say?
Let's go Habs.
Let's go Habs. Man, this guy has faith in his team. And I really believe the Montreal Canadiens can win tonight. But it has to come down to defense, and it has to come down to Carey Price. Now, yourself, you like Carey Price, right?
Yes.
Do you think Carey Price needs a better team around him overall? And why
overall,
so?
he needs defense.
He needs defense. Do you think the forwards are pretty good?
No, there are too many forwards.
Too many forwards. Gallagher's injured. He's out for this series. But I think Max Domi is going to perform good tonight. He hasn't performed.
I was
well
wrong
this
about
series.
that,
I
guys.
love.
He didn't
I love
perform
Carey
at
Price myself.
all.
I think he's the best goaltender in the National Hockey League in today's day, and it's going to be very interesting what we see.
Yes, it
offseason,
is.
You know.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mojo's going to sign off
I
right
want to
now.
ask you one more question before we go, Mojo.
Okay,
And I
go
have
ahead,
some-
then I'm going to
I
sign
have
off.
some errands. The coronavirus. What do you think of it?
I think it's stupid
You think it's stupid? Why do you think it's stupid?
because it's been going on for too long.
Been on for too long. And you know what? I believe in that. It sucks, but you know what? We're going to overcome this. Come together as a unit. Now the National Hockey League, all these sporting events, no fans. Do you like it?
Yes.
You like it with no fans?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. Mo, thank you very much.
You're
It's an
very welcome,
opportunity.
Joe.
You're like a president, but you're a brother to me. And keep fighting. Never give up, huh? Take care, brother.
I will, no problem. You too.
See ya.
Did you just see that, guys? Did you see that man put his A game on that video? Yes, he lost a lot of weight, but he's looking good. Like I said, treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Last night, the Montreal Canadiens got sliced and diced by the Philadelphia Flyers. The Philadelphia Flyers move on. The Canadiens sit back. But the Canadiens learn from this series and will move forward. They will take a positive note from this. Max Domi had a horrible, horrible series against the Philadelphia Flyers. Max Domi should have played a lot better in this series. I watched him at the Budweiser Gardens in London, Ontario, Canada, and his performance was absolutely fabulous. Looks like a total different player. He should have stayed in Arizona, where Phil Kessel is, where the Colorado Avalanche sliced and diced the Arizona Coyotes 4-1 this series. Now you look at the Philadelphia Flyers for a sec. They are a team to watch out for. They play the New York Islanders coming up very shortly. I'm going to bring up the schedule, but once again, when somebody says when somebody tells you, I can't do this, you're wrong. My brother believed in himself and believed in God, and look where he is now. His voice is back, and he's back at the top of the mountain. I want to thank every single human being who prayed for my brother. I know last night in the chat, I wrote that down. But I want to come on here and tell you live in front of hundreds and thousands of people who will be seeing this tonight, later on, and in the near future. Thank you very much, guys. You guys deserve an award, like I said. And to the rest of the people who had their prayers from London, Ontario, Canada, and to my family members from the Boonies, to the Al Rafis, to the Shahbaras, to all the Muslim people in the community, and especially the Imam from London, Ontario, Canada. Thank you very much. Well said, Joe. Hey, Joe. Oh, that was good, Joe. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into more business with the National Hockey League, round 2. Right now, we're watching over there on the other screen, the Dallas Stars, and not only that, the Colorado Avalanche. 5-3 the final. I'm going to tell you a little bit later on what I think about the Stars and who's winning the Stanley Cup. Look at the Vancouver Canucks. Who thought in the world that the Canucks are going to beat the St. Louis Blues? You know who thought so? Me and my fellow Canadian brother from British Columbia, Vancouver, Evan. Okay? And Evan might come on the show later on. If not, that's okay. One Canadian team left. The last time a Canadian team won a Stanley Cup was back in 1993. It's been a very long time, 20 plus years ago. But you look at the Vancouver Canucks for a sec. Bo Hervac, Patterson, and all that team they have around them, and especially the coaching staff, they are a team to watch out for. Now, I will show you the stats, the facts, and the schedule, what's happening around the National Hockey League, and more. I'll make this screen bigger, guys. So first of all, you got the Vancouver Canucks and Vegas Golden Knights, the Philadelphia Flyers and New York Islanders. The Colorado Avalanche right now are getting sliced and diced. You know, I love using that word sliced and diced because a couple of years ago, when my fellow American brother, Mr. John, loaded out of some Lubbock, Texas, came down, he made a sign, sliced and diced, the Sarnia Stings. And I started using that word a lot more often on my show. The Tampa Bay Lightning and Boston Bruins. The NHL has announced the dates, starting time, and national television coverage for the second round of the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs, which begins Saturday, August 22. The Eastern Conference games will be played at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, and the Hub, the Western Conference games, will be played at the Roger Place in Edmonton, the West Hub City. So Saturday, right now, we're watching the Stars and Avalanche. The Stars are going to win that game. And I think the Dallas Stars are going to win that game tonight, and they're going to win this series. Why? Because Dallas is a team to watch out for right now and the near future. What they did to the Calgary Flames. And guys, let me come back to screen quickly. The Calgary Flames are a very good team. And a lot of people say, no, you're wrong about that. You know nothing about Calgary. Guys, you got Johnny Gaudreau. You got a great team around him. You know, you're winning in the series. You come back, you were leading 3-0. You lose. I think the final score was 7-3. A team that was up 3-0 had confidence to tie their series up, go to game 7, and they come back and lose. And you're telling me the Dallas Stars are not a good team? The Dallas Stars are in some business. It's been a while since the Dallas Stars have been this good, but they're finally back around. To Cosmic from Dallas, and my buddy John Lonas from Lubbock, Texas. He's not a Dallas Star fan, but he knows a lot of people around him who likes Dallas. You guys are playing damn good hockey. Myself, I want to see the Colorado Avalanche win. I want to see them go to the Stanley Cup. I want to see Nazem Kadri in the Stanley Cup. Nazem Kadri, in 8 games, 5 goals. Nazem Kadri, I'm so proud for you. Stay in Colorado because Colorado is treating you like a 2.5-inch ribeye steak with a glass of milk and a piece of cheesecake right beside it. You're playing good, buddy, and I love you, man. I love you, cuz. I can't wait to have you on my show in the near future. Eastern Conference, the Philadelphia Flyers and New York Islanders. Now, guys, this is one series I have to think about for a couple of minutes. Monday, August 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the Islanders take on the Philadelphia Flyers. It says at Philly because they are the home team. They got a better record. They're first, and the Islanders are 6th. But, guys, wait a minute. The New York Islanders took out Alexander Ovechkin and Braden Holtby. Now, Braden Holtby is one guy that I respect on the ice and off the ice. If you look at what he has done off the ice and won a Stanley Cup, robbing the Vegas Golden Knights a couple of years ago to tie that series up 1-1 in Game 2 with dying seconds left, I think Braden Holtby will never, ever put a Washington uniform back on again. I think he'll be traded, but I think the Washington Capitals still have what it takes to go back to the Stanley Cup final. But how they played against New York? No way. Alexander Ovechkin, they barely won that game. Game 4. They should have been swept. I even called it. I said the Islanders are going to beat the Washington Capitals, and they did. I thought in 7, but I was sure wrong about that. So I made my mind up. I think the Philadelphia Flyers are a little bit better. You look at Carter Hart for Team Canada, had an unbelievable performance. I believe Philly will win in 7. I think Philadelphia is going to win in 7. But don't get me. Look, I think Philly will win in 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Islanders have an upset. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We have the one and only from Vancouver, British Columbia, Sicilian. Can you hear me, Sicilian?
I certainly can, Mr. Booney.
I see a black screen. That's all I see.
Why do you see a black screen?
I do not know. That's on your end, my fellow Canadian brother.
Let's see. Do I have to share the screen?
No, I think what you have to do is log out and turn your camera on. It sometimes does that on my desktop as well.
Really?
Yes. So you might have to shut off and come back because it's black screen. Or it might be your camera as well.
Actually, I'm looking at my camera. My camera is on. Just let me look at some. Here we go.
I saw your picture for a second and then went back to black screen.
Yeah, what it is, it's when I put my picture, which is the avatar right here.
Yeah.
And this is cameras on. So let me just try one other thing. There we go.
There you are. Look at you. There he is.
There we go. There we go.
Girls of all ages. He's finally back, looking like a sexy pinata. Cecilia.
Yeah.
Take over the floor, man.
Take over the floor. You want me to take over the floor? What do you want me to talk about? You want me to talk about the Vancouver Canucks?
Yes, talk about the Vancouver Canucks. They're up 2-0 this series. They lose 2 in a row, and they come back, win 2 straight. What do you think about Vancouver and their next opponent against the Vegas Golden Knights? What do you have to say about that?
Well, I don't want to say that I wrote them off, but I certainly got to hand it to them. I mean, they sure came back. St. Louis is not a team that you can tread lightly with. Even when you were ahead, when they were ahead, I kept saying to my wife, these guys just better stay focused, because even if they're ahead by 3 goals, that don't mean nothing against the former, Stanley Cup champion St. Louis. They're a fantastic team. They've got a lot of depth. I think they have a lot more experience than the Vancouver Canucks. But the Vancouver Canucks showed some poise. They showed some determination. For a moment there, I thought, are they going to crack? I mean, it could have gone any other way, but it was one of those nail biters where you thought, this could really happen. And then all of a sudden, St. Louis scores, and it's like, uh-oh. And I mean, the pressure was on right down. Like, they didn't stop skating. And I really have to say that I am absolutely proud of St. Louis, how they just went in and right down to the final minute, they fought tooth and nail. They weren't going to give up. And then they realized, you know what? These guys are going to be the better team going to the next round. And let's respect that. And, you could see at the end there when they had possession of the puck that they weren't going to skate it out with 40 seconds. They were going to skate backwards into their own end. And, of course, the Canucks let off too. And let them, skate and hold the puck until the time wind down. But wow, what a final game! What a comeback!
What a series.
Vancouver, unheard of. I mean, I would have. I mean, the bookies, could have made a lot of money, and some of them, I bet you lost a ton of money. Because
a lot of money, a lot of money went down the drain because Vancouver was wrote off. They were written off.
Absolutely.
They're going to be a sweep. And I said, hey, you better watch out for Vancouver. And yes, JT Miller is a damn stud. If you don't know about JT Miller,
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, but it goes to show you that even with the couple of injuries that they have with some frontline players, these are players that they really needed. And even with those injuries, it just shows you the depth that this club potentially has. And when I say potentially, they're a hot and cold club. I have found that, Vancouver has let me down many, many times for many years. But I don't want to chastise them and throw that negative out. But it's the truth.
Different team. They're a different team than back in the days when there was a huge Wyatt in Vancouver.
Absolutely.
Were you in Vancouver that time when the Brewers Canucks? I think went to Game 7 and they got this.
Yeah.
And Luongo was just. They treated him like garbage in Vancouver, and I'm glad he went.
I was surprised. I was surprised at that, Joe. I never thought that it would come to that, but try to go back with me. There was another time where the Canucks went down to Game 7, and it was not at the Rogers Arena, but it was at the Pacific. What is it called? I forget even the name of it. It's where the which where the BC Lions played, but they played out of the Pacific National Exhibition. It was the home of the Canucks. It was the old arena, and I remember them at Game 7. They were playing. I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't they playing the Chicago Blackhawks? And the reason why I say that, we're talking a long time here, maybe in the 90s. Was it the late 90s, early 90s?
If I'm not wrong, I wasn't born in the 90s, but I know I should know my hockey stats. Was it 1992? If anybody is in the chat, 1992, was it Vancouver and Chicago? If I'm not wrong. But it was in the 90s because when the coronavirus first started, they played it on sports and TSN, all the old games, and they would show Montreal winning the Stanley Cup in 1993. I think it was a year before Montreal won the Stanley Cup. If I'm not wrong.
It was quite some time. And the reason why I remember that, do you remember the player Serge Savard? Was it Serge Savard from the Blackhawks?
Savard, yes, fabulous player. Very, very, very
fabulous player. Well, I'll tell you, he wanted to do a number on me because I got under his skin. And I was down at center ice, just past the Canucks bench, but at center ice. And I remember him being in the penalty box. And as you know, the penalty box in those days, it was separated by the teams. And now they do it on the other side. But back then, the penalty box was at the same area where the teams played. So anyways, the Reader's Digest version was I started calling Serge Savard some names in French, and he kind of turned around, and I remember him reaching with his stick, and he went at me because I really got under his skin, but I was trying to throw him off because he's a fantastic player.
Unbelievable. You know what? I will put him beside Bobby Orr.
Yes. Tenacious. But anyways, I mean, I forget what the year was, but it was Game 7 and they lost at that game. Or was it the game? Was it the next series? Anyway, all I remember is that it was playoff hockey. I had tickets for the playoffs back in the day. Those tickets were very expensive, but I wasn't going to miss. I mean, that's when I was a Canucks supporter. I'm not much of a Canucks supporter today, even
One
though I.
Stop you for a sec. Breaking news: the Dallas Stars take a 1-0 lead over the Colorado Avalanche. Congrats!
Oh,
to
what was the final score?
the final score was 5-3. The final. Their goalie for Colorado went down.
Yeah, I saw that.
He walked away.
Was that a groin injury? An old groin injury?
He pulled a groin injury. Hey, when you pull a groin injury in hockey with all that equipment on, it takes a long time to heal. He's had it before. But yeah, keep going. I don't know what you were saying about the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, well, I was just reminiscing and going back when the Canucks let me down, and it was another one of those situations where they went 7 games and they lost on the 7th game. And that was when they had the riots here. It was a really bad riot. And like some of the stores downtown were literally destroyed. Cars were turned over. It's sad to see that we have that kind of.
But why? But why?
And at the end of the day, there were mostly young people that did this. They got pissed off and they got to resort to property damages. And it didn't really look good for the club at that time. But I guess these young people, that's their only way of vetting how they felt at the time. Not that it's correct, but man, I remember being quite upset that they let us down. And that was when they had Pavel Bure. We're talking sometime, Cam Neely, some really big names.
Remember when the Sedins got drafted to Vancouver? They got drafted to Vancouver when Brian Burke, before he came to Toronto, and the Sedins back then were absolutely fabulous. Back, I think it was the 90s when the Sedins got drafted, if not.
Yes, I think it was the 90s.
Yeah, so you guys have been a good team all around. It's just been losing in the playoffs. Like, you guys are winning 3-2 or 3-1, and you guys come back and lose. It's like my Toronto Maple Leaf. We can't put a team together. But finally, after seeing Vancouver, the performance being the defending champions, they have a good future ahead of them. They got a team that.
Oh yeah. But but let's not underscore the Vegas Knights. Those are the former Stanley Cup champions from 2 years ago, right? So
they lost.
Aren't they from 2 years ago?
No, they were in this. They were in the Stanley Cup against the Washington Capitals in Vegas.
And Washington beat them, right?
Washington beat them.
But the year before that, weren't they the Stanley Cup champions?
They have never won the championship.
Really?
Yes.
No. Okay, I got to stop drinking some of the stuff that I'm drinking then.
You know what?
I thought the Vegas Knights were. I thought they were Stanley Cup champions at one point.
There's a lot of people who think Vegas won the Stanley Cup. I said no, they never won the Stanley Cup. They're only a few years old.
Man, I got to Google this now.
He says hi, Sicilian.
Who said hi? Melanie. How are you, Melanie?
She's always on my show. She's an unbelievable woman. So, Sicilian, Vancouver, be the defending champions.
Yeah, I know. That's
the Vegas Golden Knights. Their next series is actually tomorrow if it's on NBC at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Sicilian, who's winning game 1 and why?
I think if Vancouver now that Vancouver has proven that they've got the depth, and by virtue of beating the St. Louis Blues the way they did, I think they're going to come on strong and fast. I think game 1 will be won by Vancouver. Not just because I'm guessing that. I just know that they're pumped. Their hearts are in it. They've proven beyond any reasonable doubt that they can come from behind and win a series against a Stanley Cup champion team. And so they're going to come out with that attitude. They're going to come out skating very strong. Vancouver Canuck is a very strong, hard-hitting, fast club. So is the Vegas Knights. The Vegas Knights, they're fast.
underestimate the Vegas Knights because you know what? They're one of those teams that they're the underdog, but they can be the overdog because they can
Yeah.
Vancouver Canucks. Believe me, you know?
I think it's going to go a full 7, though. I think it's going to be one of those. Vancouver's going to win the first one. Vegas is going to come back to tie it. Vancouver's going to win the second. They might even win a third, and then they're going to play that choking game where the Vegas Knights ties it up 3-3, and they're going to go 7 games. I believe that they're going to go a full 7 games.
Okay, let me pause. So you say the Vancouver Canucks win game 1, a Sunday, August 23rd at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. My grandfather's birthday tomorrow. I hope the Canucks can win. Tuesday, August 25th at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time, you got the Canucks and Golden Knights. And you say the Vegas Golden Knights win that. I say that too. I say Golden Knights win game 4. Game 1, game 2, game 3. Then game 4, I say the Canucks win. Game 5, Vegas. Game 6, Canucks. Game 7, game 6, Knights, and then game 7, the Vancouver Canucks win that. I think the Canucks win.
So we're close. We're close on our random selection of what days they're gonna win.
Like, come on, guys, support your Canadian. You only have one Canada team left in the National Hockey League 2020.
I know. That's kind of sad because that's another thing, you know. Up until last week, there were 3 Canadian teams: the Montreal Canadiens, the Vancouver Canucks, of course, and there was who was the third team, Joe?
It was Calgary, Vancouver,
and Montreal.
And I can't say Toronto because they're a disappointing team every year.
But you know what? Up until those 3 teams were there, you mean including, if we want to include Toronto, I was hoping that every Canadian team would stick it out and be there. Unfortunately, we're left with the Canucks being the only Canadian team on the roster left. So, Canada's going to be, that's the other thing, Canada's going to be backing them. It's not just Vancouverites, the Torontonians, the Winnipeggers, the Albertans, the Saskatchewan people, the Maritimes, they're all going to be behind the Vancouver Canucks because it's a Canadian team.
It is a Canadian team, and I actually have the Vancouver Canucks hat right here that I've never worn. I'm going to wear. You know what? And I respect the Vancouver Canucks because they've always had a team, but they couldn't put a team together. But they finally have. And CT Miller is a stud, and I believe is the next MVP in the National Hockey. That's what I believe in. Believe me,
Right on.
Now, I have somebody on FaceTime who's a big fan of you, Sicilian. You know the pitch of the bidet he made for you, Roger Madawi. Remember I showed you that? You started laughing. No, he loves you, and we have him on FaceTime. His computer he came on FaceTime. Roger Madawi, Sicilian. He's shy. You're shy now? You wouldn't be shy off camera when I'm off camera.
Who is it?
Roger Madawi from London, Ontario. He loves to mock you. He loves to
does, eh?
He loves to, like, he will tell you, like, every day he calls me around 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and he used to say, I would say Sullivan. Remember, because I used to say Sullivan because I couldn't say your name. And then he said Sicilian, and he would remember every single word that you said. It was like a Bible. It was a Bible, Sicilian and Joe Booney.
I love you both.
Thank you.
I love you both.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Madawi says he loves you and he has a lot of respect for you.
I heard him. Right on.
Say that.
I want to talk about Nick Nurse winning Coach of the Year.
Yes. Go ahead.
The Raptors needed a nurse, needed help, and they called upon a nurse. And look where they are now.
They did.
Isn't that incredible?
He got robbed last year. He finally was Coach of the Year this year.
I think, you know what? Last year, you could have gave it to him, but I think this year it's a bigger award for him because Kawhi's gone. People thought this team was going to be a 7th seed, an 8th seed, maybe not even make. Look where they are.
Yeah, for sure.
Saying it right now. The Raptors are going to the finals. The Raptors come out of the East. The only challenge for the Toronto Raptors is the Boston Celtics. I am not afraid of the Milwaukee Bucks because I'm not afraid of Miami because I think those two are going to go to 7. They're going to beat the heck out of one
But
another.
let me stop you for a sec. Why are you afraid of the Boston Celtics?
Because Boston and Toronto are very, very well equipped and they play a similar game.
So you're telling me the only team you're afraid of is the Boston Celtics. You're not afraid of Greek the Freak?
No, I think no. Because I think that the Raptors know how to play him. The Raptors know exactly what to do with Giannis.
Okay.
The Raptors will let him shoot from outside, and they'll make Milwaukee shoot like they did. Giannis, once he runs down the court and does a little spin inside and his little alley-oop or the little layup, once you get Serge, once you get Mark, now you got the X Factor OG who can play like Kawhi. I'm not saying he's a Kawhi type, but he could be like.
See, we didn't have to prove. Kawhi didn't win the championship. We won as a team, and look what Kawhi is now for the Clippers. We're doing better than the Clippers overall. We have a team. We're not like LeBron James. Let me stop you for a second. If let's say the Lakers were down. Let's say the Lakers are down and they had no LeBron, the team is done. But Kawhi got traded and the team is doing better than before. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, it's simple as that. Believe me,
Thank you for this. I appreciate it. Please tell Sicilian God bless him.
He can hear you.
The good man. And you know what? I would not watch anybody's bidet story but his. And his is the one. It deserves an Oscar. The way it deserves someone to actually write a book and sell out chapters. That story is actually remarkable. And I'm so happy to hear that you and him are talking once again. And he's full of life, just like you, Joe. God bless you both. Love you both. Have a great night.
Thank you, Madara.
Thank you, man. The bidet story.
I'm telling you, he's something else, That was a good story. It should be in books, you know what I mean?
You know what, Joe? I was, thinking about that just as I was logging on. I thought, man, I recall telling that story, and it was a deep story and a lot of color. And what I mean by a lot of color, there's a lot of emotion and there's a lot of detail there that only the person that would have gone through such a thing. I can't, to this day, I still can't believe that I'm here. I mean, it's a miracle, and I'm here and I'm seeing a fellow like you, and I still can't believe, Joe, that you are who you are, and that I'm almost 3 times your age. Actually, I am 3 times your age. My God.
I don't mind you asking if you want to say it live there. How old are you?
67 in October.
Wow. October what?
31st.
You're getting a gift from Joe Booney. I'm sending it.
No.
Absolutely you are. And it might
birthdays don't mean nothing, man.
It might be a signature from today from Joe Booney to keep from memory.
You know what? Yeah, I mean, you know what, Joe? The fact that I was given another lease on life and that I'm able to do these things, that I'm able to, run my own show on Live Me and have some really good followers. And some of the topics are tough topics and so forth. It's just, it tells me that if you really want something and you really push for it, that you can have anything you want as long as you really want it from your heart. And I could only say that I remember my children were young, and I can hear people saying that he's not going to make it. Who knows when he's going to go, when God is going to take him, all of the above. And I thought, there's no way that this guy ain't leaving this earth until I say I'm going to leave. And you know what? I fought, Joe. I looked after myself. I went from 260 pounds with a 45-inch waist because I sat around, I couldn't move, to, weighing 185 pounds and a 36-inch waist. Well, now I'm a little more heavier, okay? But you know what? Life is good. And there's nothing wrong with life being good and, packing on a little bit of pounds here and there. But at the end of the day, I'm here. I'm with you. I'm with people that you know. You're with people that I know, and we've really got a good support group, Joe. So we gotta count our blessings because that's what it's all about. And we still got a lot more to offer society.
Absolutely. You know what? Now, before you came on, I was talking about my brother for about 15 minutes, and we had a video. Last night was talking about the Montreal Canadiens. He had 13 plus surgeries, and he came out to be one strong human being. Even doctors knocked on our doors, our house, and said, your son's not going to make it. It's in God's hands. And my brother's fought through every single one of them, and he believed in God. He had faith, and whatever happened, he said it happened, and he's still here because God doesn't want him to go yet. He's still here for a reason, and I thank God every day. I woke up this morning, he's outside drinking a coffee, talking to his wife on FaceTime, and talking to his brothers and sisters. And you know what? It touched my heart. I said, I can't believe this is actually happening. This is a dream that came true once again. So you can overcome anything in life if you
absolutely
believe in God.
Absolutely. And I find that with age, Joe, you get closer to that spiritual part of you. When we're young, like when I was your age, yeah, I believed in God and stuff, but I never really practiced it. I never really talk about it. I was more interested in being with the guys, drinking some beer and chasing the gal.
Saturday night for the boys, you can't.
Oh, it was like seek and conquer. It's
You want to have a good time as well. You want to treat yourself too because you only live once, right? Like
well,
I say,
yeah. But you don't want to take life for granted either, Joe. At that age, what does a young man truly know at 20 years of age? Really, what do they really know? And then when I think back as a young man and what I knew then and what I know today, oh my goodness, I am so wealthy with life experiences, and I'm beyond wealth that I was even given, a second chance to carry on with my life. So, I'm very blessed. And as I say, that spiritual sense is with me most of the day. And, there's one prayer that I always say, and I say it quite often during the day. And, it's just a short prayer, but it just kind of grounds me. When I get that sense that things aren't going right, it grounds me. If I am worried about my daughter, I say that prayer, it grounds me, and it's life. And I keep saying, well, what do I got left? What do I got left, Joe? I got maybe 20 years left.
Well,
think about it. 20 years. If I can live another 20 years and stop taking the amount of medication that I already take to stay alive, but that's because of my injury. I still take medication. But, I'm trying to find ways to get around that medication, but with the direction of my doctor. I'm going to get there. But if I can live healthy for another 10 to 15 years and be healthy, shit, man, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be satisfied.
This is crazy to say. I've never asked anybody, never told it, asked them this question. Are you afraid to die?
Absolutely not.
Because I asked a lot
and you know what? And I knew you were going to ask me that. But you ask a 20-year-old man, are you afraid to die? And first of all, they really have to think about it. But if they've thought about it, in most cases, a young man is scared to die because
I am. I can tell you that. I've done something over the years. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I learned from them. Well, you got to learn from.
Well, but you got a whole lifetime ahead of you to learn more things and make more mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, it's not the first time that you'll make a mistake today or next week. Unless you're me, you don't make mistakes, right?
Yeah, you're Mr. Perfect. Look at this guy. This guy's Mr. Perfect. Better than WWF. This guy is he has done nothing wrong. He's done everything good. He is an angel. He is a prophet, and he is a scholar. And we're going to have that story for the bidet. But yeah, I like asking those questions because a lot of times that I ask people, even in their mid 40s, even late 50s, they say that I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, you know what? I worry more for my children and my family.
Oh, yeah.
And I've always said, Lord, please take me first so that I don't have to witness. It's kind of selfish. It's kind of cowardly to say, but
Not really.
you know what? I mean, logistically, the numbers, the way they present themselves in my family, I've got to go first. I don't want to see my family perish, and I don't want to know how they perish. But for me, God, please take me first, but protect my family in my absence is how I would like to go. And when it's time, believe me, I'm not worried at all because I have God that's very close to me in my heart. God speaks to me all the time. We hear, he speaks to me. Well, what does that really mean? Well, he does speak to me, and he speaks to me through my body. I know what he's saying. My mind, our minds, Joe, are absolutely amazing. And if once you grow and as your mind grows with you and you experience life skills, you will also experience things that are different. And those things are part of the life skills of becoming older and wiser and, being mindful of how you carry yourself about. Because it's really important what people see you as. At the end of the day, people will see you and speak about you and say whatever the hell they want, and you can't stop that. But as long as you know in your heart that you've got God in your heart and that you've done the right things and you've done the best that you can with what you've been taught as a man, and that goes for a woman or any other human being, then you know what? You're on the right track. And as you get older, when that time comes, like when my time comes, I hope I don't go tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go.
I want to see you at my wedding, okay? Make a promise to make my wedding, okay, in 5 years.
What kind of a woman are you looking for, Joe?
Beautiful, successful, amazing woman that I walk down the aisle with that white horse and two swords with fire coming out of them and having Lebanese and Canadian music at the same time going on and having Sicilian holding that bidet and having the autograph and yelling at me, hey, I'm here from Vancouver. I'm supporting you, brother. No, but I want to have a good woman, that I can take care of, And I always say there's two kinds of love in life. I always say that. People say, what do you mean by two kinds of love? One that just, I love you, gives gifts here and there, but actually showing love, being there for each other, being there for the good times, for the bad times. When your wife's giving labor, when your wife's giving birth, whatever you want to say, how you say it, being there, always on time, being honest with each other, showing caring about your children, asking if your wife needs anything. That's what kind of love I'm looking for to help that whoever it is, that girl. Do I make sense on that for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can say to many women, I love you, but do you actually mean it? Or are you there for the moment? You see how
I would have to say that for a young man, they're there for the moment.
Well,
for a young man,
yeah.
When you really mean it, you'll know. When you really mean it, you'll know. When you really run into that person, you will know. And my best advice to a young man would be is take your time, be extremely selective, because that selection lasts your entire life. It's supposed to. Okay, it's supposed to. But we know statistically that's supposed to doesn't necessarily work out that way. And that's just the way it is. But, my advice would be is to take your time, be extremely selective. And, eventually, when the right time comes, I think for a man, 28 to 34 is a good time to get married.
34. That's a little too far. See, I want to accomplish everything the age at 25.
It's still young for a man.
Not marriage. Find someone. Be
okay.
like a broadcaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
what I'm saying, Joe, is that I think a man should tie that knot somewhere between the age of 28 and 34. That doesn't mean you can't court and know that same person that you're going to marry 3 or 4 years prior. I'm just saying that when it's time to tie that knot, I think 28 to 34 is a sweet spot for a guy. Do you know what I'm saying?
This is my dad, actually. Your mic is off, Dad. Your mic is off. The mic, we can't hear you.
Is that Dad?
Yeah, that's my dad, but he can't hear us. Your mic is off. Let me text him very quickly.
He's a young fella.
But yeah, going back to your point, I think 34, myself is a little bit late because if you have kids, right? I want to have kids.
Oh, well, here, do the math, Joe. Joe, do the math.
I want to have a 20-year-old, and I want to be 40. You know what I mean?
Let's see how good you are at math.
Oh,
okay, hang on. I'll be 67, and my daughter's 19, my youngest. How old was I?
Can I do the calculation? 67.
Usually, the best way to do this, I might teach you something here. When something's 19, it's a difficult number. Just change it to 20, subtract it from 67, and you got a difference of 47 years. You added a year. It's a 46-year difference. I was 46 years old when I had my little one, my last one.
The one I spoke to the other day on the phone.
Yeah. So I was 46 years old when she was born. So you're saying, 34, I might be too old. And well, for a guy, it's different. For a woman, it's important that they have children when they're younger.
Well, my cousin,
for the obvious reasons.
My cousin just got engaged. She's 20 years old, and she's talking to this 28, 29-year-old. Nice fella.
Beautiful. I like the numbers. For me, I like that number. An 8-year difference. There's nothing wrong with that. My wife is 11 years younger than me.
Your mic is still off, buddy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Yeah. How's it going?
Dad,
we have liftoff.
Dad,
happening?
Dad, Sicilian, Muhammad Arafi, a.k.a. Moormeister, my father.
Good to meet you, Muhammad.
You too, man. You're looking good.
Thank you. I try real hard. Well, should I just say I don't try very hard? I usually wake up looking like this.
Oh.
A gift from God,
That's one thing, how, like even with when I got longer hair, I don't know what it is, but maybe I just don't move. When I'm in bed, I don't move. I can stick to a spot on I can sleep on a 2x6 if I had to. But I don't have to do very much other than shower and just sort of do this and okay, I'm ready to go.
I wish I could be like that. If I was like that, I think I'd be paralyzed by the time I was now, But I want to go back into sports. We have so much to talk about. I want to go back into the facts and news. Now, Sicilian, let's talk about the Flyers and Islanders. Who wins that series and why? It's best out of 7. Philly just beat the Montreal Canadiens in 6.
Well, I can't give you a why. I would have to take the Flyers.
Yeah.
I'll take the Flyers, and I'm gonna take the Flyers in. I'm gonna say 6.
How about you, Dad?
Flyers in 5.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Myself.
Just because.
Now this is an interesting series. Very interesting. You got
Yeah.
the 2 seed against the 4 seed. Personally, for myself, I want the Boston Bruins to win. I love Zdeno Chara and Jake DePress, and especially Patrice Bergeron. I think that line, the power play line, is absolutely phenomenal. You will never see a power play line like that in my time. I can tell you that. I personally think the Bruins are going to win in 7, but these Lightning, I have a feeling they can make some noise. These bolts can just explode. Steven Stamkos has been out for a while. I think he's still out. If not, maybe he's back. I say the Bruins in 7, but don't be surprised if the Lightning make an upset in 6, because these Lightning are in some business, and their coach Cooper and the rest of the organization in Tampa Bay, they have some noise to do. It's about time for Tampa Bay to win a Stanley Cup. The last time they won a Stanley Cup was 2006 with the Vincent Lecavalier. What do you guys say, Boston or Tampa Bay?
I'm gonna go with Boston. Boston in 6.
Boston in 6. How about you?
Tampa Bay in 6.
Oh, Tampa Bay in 6. You know
It's
what?
gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Tough team, Tampa Bay. I know Boston's crazy strong, but Tampa Bay always find a way.
Vancouver.
I hope you're making a note of this, Joe, so that we can have some bragging rights later.
Oh yes, don't worry. This will be recorded, and I'll put on Facebook, and I'll put the facts down. Who's right? And at the end of the day, whoever's right gets a Joe Booney Respect Women 110% T-shirt and a nice hat out of these collection. Very nice ones too.
I'd like to hear from Mohammed in terms of the Canucks series with the Vegas Knights. What his prediction would be.
I hope Vancouver wins, because our only team left in the playoffs, and I don't think they haven't never won, right? I think the last time they played was against Montreal in '93 or '94, wasn't it?
I think he's got that right.
When my Canadians won the Stanley Cup back in '93.
Was it 93? Were they playing Vancouver?
I think Game 7 was in Vancouver, if memory serves me correctly.
Pretty sure.
I said.
Now, was that Mohammed? Was that when Serge Savard was with the Canadians?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I confused them with Chicago because he eventually went to Chicago, but that was when Serge Savard was with the Canadians.
Yeah.
Remember I asked you that, Joe?
Yes. Now, this series, the Avalanche and Stars, Dallas is already up 1-0 in this series.
Yeah.
I say Dallas wins in 6. I think Dallas is too good for the Colorado Avalanche. You got Grubauer, who's out now. Who knows how long he's out for? The backup goalie, came in, had a couple nice saves, but he gave up a lot of rebounds, a couple of goals. I just think Dallas is too good, and I think Dallas is actually going to go to the Stanley Cup. And I'm picking my prediction right now. The Dallas Stars will face the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup, and Dallas will win in 7.
Ooh, that's quite the prediction.
It is quite the prediction, but these Stars, I just don't know. I haven't seen these guys play good hockey in a while, and they finally have a team, and they have a lot of good players, like a lot of former Tampa Bay Lightning players, a lot of guys who can put a team around them, and that's what I like about hockey,
They got some depth. They got some depth to them.
And people, when they say Dallas is not known for hockey. It's hot there, yeah. But hey, the Dallas Stars got a team. It's like Team Canada against Team US. That's how good they are. A lot of Canadian players in Dallas. Would you say, Dad?
Colorado's
what?
gonna win that.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Now Grubauer's down. Who knows how long?
I'm with your dad. I'm with your dad on that one. I think Colorado's going to come back and they're going to win it in 7.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, my boy and my cousin, Mr. Kadri win the Stanley Cup. It'll be nice, He had.
I think if they hadn't lost their goalie tonight, I think they would have won that game.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know because they were down 3-1, first intermission. They made a kind of little comeback, but Dallas was too strong in the second and third. The only way I can see Colorado come back and win the series if Grubauer's back and if they can play really hard. Because look at Nathan McKinnon. He had a beautiful goal today, stylish goal. And I hope I'm wrong, but I'm still picking Dallas. And I'm picking Dallas and Boston. I'd love to see that series,
Well, me and your dad are Colorado in 7.
So,
Yeah.
you know what? Somebody's going to be right and somebody's going to be wrong. So the loser goes home. The winner goes on,
That's right.
Yeah, just like my Habs.
Well, you know what? Your Habs did a good job for a team that was 24th place overall that shouldn't have been in the playoffs. Should have been.
So thanks for letting me know that 24th overall.
Yeah, right.
It looks like a team that's 24th overall,
It's a new season when the playoffs start. That's all I got to say.
It is a new season. But who I got to really blame seriously for this? A lot of people are going to be surprised. Carey Price in that series.
Oh, you can't.
Yes.
And he only do so.
He did good, but those goals,
They were
not so much him, but some goals he should have saved. A lot of them. Like that game, those goals went in. It was like.
Yeah, but Gallagher was not out, right? So he was
But what did Gallagher do?
Did he-
Gallagher, he didn't score, He had
Yeah.
a few assists here and there.
tough plays, and he knocked out. He was right, so I think that was a big loss for them. So that's why they ended up losing.
Yeah, I really thought Montreal was going to win that series. Price was on his game. Just that last game, he was. I don't know.
But
Wasn't
one.
sharp.
Was number 1.
Oh, you're playing Philadelphia. Philadelphia, who knows? They could be a team that goes to the Stanley Cup and wins it. They've been the best team for so long. And they're finally a good team. Last time they were really a good team like that was with Chris Pronger when they lost in 6 against. Remember that? I remember the last game Chris Pronger had when Metelli Gorbaski from Toronto almost ripped Pronger's eye out on the ice. The stick was stuck in his eyeball. It was horrible, And let me show you that clip, actually. Let me show you that clip. It's very interesting. You guys can talk all you want right now. I'm just going to search this up. What time is it there, Sicilian?
Right now it's 8:34.
8:34.
Oh, there it was. Right there.
He goes right down. This Pronger, just by his reaction, is in some trouble here.
That was the last time you saw Chris Pronger, one of my
He's
favorites.
going right off. Very good.
Wow.
Wow, he is in some pain
Oh,
there.
he really was, Jonesy. His facial expression was scary.
Looked like a shot by Grabowski went off of Pronger's stick and up high into the face of Pronger. And Braden Shen's gathering his equipment. Grabowski, you feel terrible as a player when you're on both sides of that. Grabowski might feel good about it. There's the save by Bobrovsky. And then the puck laser spinning as.
Look at this, look at this, look at this.
There's Pronger reaching at the stick there. And it goes up off that stick.
Look at that.
It's a stick that Grabowski.
It's a stick that hits his face.
On the follow through.
I think he was blind, or I can't remember exactly what happened after that.
Do we know if he lost an eye there, Joe?
I don't think he lost an eye, but I think he lost his vision, actually, because they had a documentary on. You should actually watch the documentary. I'll send it to you on iMac. And when he had the interview with one of the great commentators on NBC. Shawn Michaels from WWE.
Yes, yes,
He's kind of cross-eyed. He looked like he was cross-eyed, but he wasn't. He
right.
had damage in that game. He had some damage a lot because those sticks. You're on the ice.
Yeah, for sure.
Sharp. The knives and all that. They're sharpening them, and when you're flicking that stick up in the air, hitting your eyeball and all that, he did some damage. Ended his career. That was the final game you saw Chris Pronger ever play.
So he never returned back to the NHL after that.
And that killed me because I loved Pronger and I loved the Flyers back then because I'd always watch him and
Yeah.
Game 7
Yeah,
Eastern Conference. So yeah, just little things like that can end your career.
Well, that's kind of sucks, but it's true.
What do you do? I want to switch gears. I want to talk about the Toronto Raptors, actually, the defending champions from last year. Playing like champions, they're easily dismantling the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. You got the Raptors and Brooklyn Nets. Sicilian and Dad, is it a sweep or is Brooklyn going to have an upset?
No, it's a sweep.
Sweep.
Toronto is the most complete team in the NBA. Their chemistry is not like any other team. They're all stars, and it's not like just the Lakers. They have a bunch of stars, but I'm saying they're the most complete team in all of sports. If you look at them,
I was bringing this example up. If LeBron James goes down, that team is done. We got rid of our best player, Kawhi Leonard, who stayed for a year. He wasn't even our best player. Okay, he was there.
Well, he was a player.
It was the team that won for them. It was the whole team. It wasn't just one player.
That's
and
true.
Going back to my point, LeBron James, he's out. The team is done. Kawhi, we traded Kawhi. We still have the same team. We actually got better. We developed a lot better. And look where we are. We're second in the Eastern Conference, and we're going to play the Boston Celtics, looks like. I see a lot of good potential for the Raptors this year, and especially Nick Nurse, what Roger Medawi said, Coach of the Year.
I mean, Nick Nurse sort of completes the team, right? Even though he's not out there.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of respect for Nick Nurse, and Nick Nurse knows his stuff. So, I can't see them not winning that particular series. I think he's going to be a sweep.
Do you think the Raptors go back to the championship?
Was that Joe?
You think the Raptors are going to go back to the championship?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I'd like to see them go there. I mean, anything can happen, right? But I'd like to see them go there.
Yeah.
They prove that they can. Nothing's stopping them from doing it again.
No, especially with no audience. They're still playing the same Toronto Raptors. And that bench, their bench is better than their first 5 players that play in the court, So I really see who's going to really develop is Siakam now in the near future. And Kyle Lowry, still playing like Kyle Lowry,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
The team has what it takes to win a championship like the Blue Jays did, back-to-back championships. Was it 1992, 1993 when Joe Carter hit that home run, touchable Joe, you'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
See, I don't know what the psyche would be without that crowd because basketball, I've been to live basketball games.
I haven't been.
They are an absolute hoot. Yeah. It is fantastic. You get into it. It's nothing like football or hockey. It's a different type of party. It's just what's going on. Like when Vancouver what did Vancouver have in their basketball team? What were they called? Anyways, it doesn't matter. When Vancouver had their own basketball team, and I went to these matches, and I was on the floor. I'm telling you, Joe, Mohammed, it was an absolute crazy time. And it didn't matter if the Vancouver team didn't win. It was what was going on around you, and T-shirts being flown out of these cannon things that they had, and they had all kinds of prizes being shot out into the stands, and like halftime or the first quarter, second quarter, right after each quarter, man, the party that was going on the floor was fantastic. So the psyche today is going to be totally different in terms of what these guys are seeing and feeling. But if I had to compare it to hockey, because I played hockey, and when I played hockey with my team, and we had a competitive team, we weren't getting paid the big bucks, but we created our own excitement. So it's a different type of high when you're in there and you're doing this pandemic type games. It's a totally different psyche. So, is it going to be the same for the Raptors? I have to say no, but they're going to create their own excitement. They're going to create their own a level of euphoria, if I can use the term, that's going to get them to that next step. That's going to hurrah and all the praise that goes on at the bench. I mean, it's going to be a different psyche. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's all going to play out.
Basketball is the only game that it's always fast paced and always scoring. So that's why it's so like why the crowd is always up on their feet.
Yeah, for sure.
And they can't basically.
At the TD Gardens, when the Celtics play, they're always on their feet. And I asked this gentleman, who's actually a scholar, I asked this gentleman one time, why are they always on their feet? Because remember back in the days when they had Larry Bird, when Larry Bird won the championship and all that? Remember back in the good old days, years and years ago, when Larry Bird won the championship? That day when they won the championship, everybody was standing up. This guy was telling me not even one person sits down. Now it's hard to believe, I'm sure people do sit down. But every time they score over 100 points or just play good basketball in general, they're always on their feet. In the TD Gardens, if you guys haven't been there, I haven't been there yet, but I'll go and, when the coronavirus is all over and done with, I'm going to go watch a Bruins game and a Celtics game, and I'm going to go to Fenway Park as well because Boston is a place to go watch sports, and especially the TD Gardens.
Oh, yeah.
How far is Vancouver to Boston? Pretty damn far, right?
Well, it's probably a couple of days driving. Maybe about a 6-hour flight.
So you are Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver. Well, I'm on the West Coast. This is on the East Coast, so it'll be probably an 8-hour flight.
8-hour flight
with a connecting flight, say from Toronto to Boston.
Oh, there's no one direct flight.
I wouldn't know, but if it was direct, I do know that if I wanted to fly to Toronto from Vancouver, it's going to take 5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the time? Yeah.
And yeah, you can fly out you take a red-eye flight, and I can leave here at midnight and be there at 7:00 in the morning, ready for work in Toronto.
Yeah.
I used to take those flights. Man,
Okay.
those were crazy days.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Bring up, this is very interesting, actually. This is the series, actually, the Lakers are leading the Portland Trailblazers 2-1 the series. We got the Houston Rockets that I think they're going to go to the championship.
I tell you the problem with the Lakers.
Yes, what's the problem? Thank
You
you.
can tell me exactly if I'm right or wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Too many stars.
No, he got to go back.
Too many stars on that team.
There is a lot of stars. You look at Anthony Davis, LeBron James.
Powerhouse team, but they have too many stars on that team.
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to do the team they did years ago with Shaq and even Kobe. Even back then when Kobe and Shaq and all those, but back then,
hey, by the way,
it was that team and they stuck to that team. They never had all these players come in like, Allen Iverson or anybody who come in and play for them. No, it was Shaq. It was Kobe. It was Kobe's team back then, and now they're bringing LeBron and they're bringing Anthony Davis. And I don't see the Lakers winning the championship at all this year. I don't think they have what it takes to win a championship. I'm sorry to say.
It might because it's Kobe's birthday today.
I would love to see the Lakers win it just for Kobe, but otherwise, I don't think the Lakers have what it takes to win a championship. I would, this is crazy to say, but I think the Utah Jazz can beat the Lakers because the Utah Jazz are something else. They're playing good basketball. They're leading 2-1 in the series against the Denver Nuggets, but they're a team to watch out for. Like, they're up 2-1. They got the Clippers up 2-1. That's going to be right to the end of that series. And then you got Milwaukee up 2-1. They lost that first game. Everybody was shocked. I can't believe it. Well, people saying that's a fluke. No, they lost fair and square. I loved Miami. They're still like my second team. I have a lot of respect for them. Great team around them. Up 3-0. And the Celtics and 76ers. And the 76ers are having a lot of problems. They're like my Maple Leafs. They have a team, but they can't put a team together because they're missing that key player. I see Boston, Toronto, and I think Toronto will win in 6 against Boston. But who knows? Boston is one of those teams that come around and they can surprise you either way. So that is your National Basketball Association playoffs. All series a matchup with the Western Conference and Eastern Conference. It should be good, and I can't wait to watch the Raptors game tomorrow when they slice and dice the Brooklyn Nets. It's but otherwise, how you guys doing? How's coronavirus in Vancouver, Cecilian? I really asked you that.
Well, you know what? We have a little bit of disappointment because of the
numbers are up there. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. We just our numbers are spiking over the last week, and people aren't taking the social distancing serious. So you're going to have a certain class of people with an age group of, say, 30 to 40 or 25 to 40, that age group that, they like to party. There's a lot of it going on, but now one of our MPs said, enough is enough. I heard his words. He said, quote unquote, enough is enough. And it's just the tone that he used. And people are going to start getting charged. And what they're doing now is they're flying over certain establishments with these police helicopters, and they're using infrared heat sensors, and they can see how many people are inside these buildings. So if they spot that there's just too many people in this building, they're going to radio in, and the police are going to go in there, bust people, and they're going to charge them accordingly. But I think it's going to have to come down to that, which is really unfortunate. I was always of the opinion that when we started opening things up, that it was still too early.
Yeah,
I think I would have been more comfortable with sitting back for another 30 days, if not, even 60 days, just to be certain that we've got this thing under some kind of control. And, we do, but when people start taking things lightly and they start, getting together and partying harder than what they're supposed to, we start getting spikes. And it's not just here in Vancouver. We're getting it in Alberta.
The mentality of I'm invincible. It can't happen to me. And look at the one basketball player that started it all.
Yes.
And then he got it.
Yeah.
So
now
nobody's invincible. Nobody's infallible to this disease. If you're going to be doing things that we shouldn't, and we know what we can do and what we should be doing, then chances are the risk is that you could catch this virus and then spread it to your own family. Like, come on.
That's right.
See, people are sick of it. People are tired of it, and this is why you're seeing the numbers go up. People don't care anymore. People do not care anymore. I was talking to this gentleman the other day. I was actually at Food Basics, and this guy actually comes up to me because he was looking at my T-shirts, one of Maple Leafs shirt. I had Matt Sandim at the back, and he was telling me he came in with no mask, right? And I'm wearing a mask, right? I don't like the mask, I hate the mask, but I respect, the government rules and all that. And yes, it protects a lot of lives and all that. This comes in with no mask, and he says, like a shirt, but why do you have that mask on? You know what he said to me? It's all but a conspiracy. And you know what I did? I walked that way. Because there's so many things I wanted to say to that man, but I walked that way, And a lot of people here in Canada, a lot of people are in Canada, 55%, if I'm not wrong, think it's a conspiracy that the government's doing. How is it a conspiracy when you have thousands and thousands of people dying every day from this virus, when you have millions and millions of people dying in one of the greatest countries in the world, the United States of America,
You died. Okay, he just
how you call me a conspiracy? And I want to say so much to this guy, but I walked the other way. You know, I don't want to get no argument, no fight, no police. I don't need that stuff. You know, I got enough on my plate. You know, I don't need that stuff. But just him coming in just disrespectful. You know, thank you for the show, but then say why you have the mask and it's a conspiracy. You know, do you know anybody in Vancouver thinks it's a conspiracy, or people think it's a conspiracy down there? You know,
Well, there's certainly
without him.
a lot of the mindset is really, there's a lot of unrest with how this came to be and how is it that it got out of hand. I think we can agree that the virus originally came from China, and that, you know, there were people that were messing around with you know, this particular virus because it has been around, and somehow it got out on the streets. But the question is how did it get out on the streets? I mean, I don't think we'll ever know the truth. And you know, the numbers, Joe, present themselves quite clearly that this virus does kill people.
and it's not
But-
just a virus.
No, but I was just going to say, but just the same, the common flu kills hundreds of thousands of people per year, but our statistics don't sit there and go, oh my goodness, today we lost more people to the flu, and today's death rate with the flu virus was, you know, 1,000 for the US and 650 for Canada. So there's this theory that, you know, the conspiracy aspect, I think, has a lot to do with the government's covering up the true dangers of this virus. I mean, if we wanted to, we could sit here and debate this for hours, and you could go to Google, and there's so many different there's so many different theories out there. I mean, one lady sent me the other day a clip and about this former CIA agent, and this CIA agent was in his 70s, and he was hired on the premises that his job during the day was to eliminate people, and he was to eliminate key people. And I watched this video it was around 9 minutes, and I was just in awe after it. And I thought to myself, this is just one conspiracy theory. But we're listening, or according to this documentary that I saw, I'm listening to a fellow that seemed to have it together, and his story was just incredible, Joe. That you know, when they found out that he was a foster child, he was the perfect choice for the CIA to be using this guy. And what they did is they basically, when they decided that he would do this and that he agreed to do this, they pumped him full of drugs, and they changed how his brain would think. And his brain would think in such a way that when he would take a life, that he wouldn't even remember it once it was done, and there was no emotion while he was doing it. And then he started rambling off the names of certain people that he took out. And each one of these people that he took out, there was their name on the bottom of the screen and a picture. And the picture depicted what appears to be a UFO sighting. So each one of these people that took pictures and had evidence of a UFO, they were all taken out. Because in the day, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, we were never to talk about UFOs. You were silenced. And if you didn't go silent, somebody would silence you. So at the end of the day, This guy now he goes fast forward. I'll send you the actual video, Joe, for you and your father to look at this and then ask yourselves about some of these theories. Like there was something incredible about this particular video because he starts talking about the year 2024. And in 2024, just before he starts talking about it, he went to a military facility. He is now no longer killing people. He's semi-retired, but still part of the military. And he recounts a time where he went to this military base and they walked into this massive dark room. And this big shot says to him, "What do you see coming towards us?" He says, "They look like lights." He says, "Look at it really carefully." And then he said, "Oh my God, it's a massive spaceship." He says, "Are you sure of what you see?" And he says, "Well, as sure as you and I are talking here, yeah, it looks like it." And it was hovering over their heads. What it truly was a hologram, but it was so real. And what he says is that they're going to use this in the skies above major cities, and behind these holograms are actually going to be military ships that are going to be attacking civilians to reducing populations. And that's another conspiracy, Joe. Mohammed, we've heard about it. There's too many people in the world, and they want to reduce the population. The conspiracy about the coronavirus, same thing. They want to reduce the population. And who are they targeting first? The elderly. Why do they target the elderly? It's because the elderly are the first people that are actually going to impugn the resources of any country or community for the obvious reasons, right? So if you get rid of them, the government gets to keep most of that money in its coffers, and call it trust funds or whatever to run the countries.
Of course.
But it's when we think of it as human beings, it's bordering on absolute disgust that we would allow our elderly to be treated that way or to be removed for what reason? Because of money. So I'm telling you, we can talk for hours about conspiracy theory. I will send you that most recent one. I try not to listen to them, because it messes up the way I think.
I want to bring something up. One of my favorite reporters, Chris Cromwell from the CNN reporting, and he's interviewing this gym owner. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I want you guys to see it, and I want you guys to tell me what you think about this. Something that I never thought would be played on television or be accepted on television. So take a listen.
It's YouTube. Who did you put in the fun?
Bottom line is, it's like the flu. This is a mild flu.
No, but there are a lot more cases, Frank. There are a lot more cases, and people are getting more sick, and different people are getting sick and get sick with the flu.
I knew it.
You're not being Trump because of the total numbers.
I'm not being Trump because he's not doing
53.3% of the deaths. 53.3% of the deaths. 0.6% of the population.
Right.
Bottom line, that's a stat that nobody's talking about.
Frank, watch your mouth on television.
They actually say that liquor stores are essential. Every place that you can go into Home Depot and Lowe's is essential. I disagree with that. Okay, we're all essential. Everybody's essential. And bottom line is, this isn't about opening up a gym. They have violated everyone's constitutional rights. We all have the right to make a living. We all have the right to actually do what we want to do as Americans. We are promised liberty. And they have actually put such oppressive restrictions on us that it's just unacceptable to us.
we're being blamed by the governor for being reckless when we're doing more than what he does in long-term care facilities.
I get your argument. I get your argument, and I think that you should have a fair hearing.
It's out of control. It's out of control. It's all that happens is conclusionary statements with no science and data to back up that our gym or any small business for that matter is more responsible for deaths and the spread of COVID than any
I
other
don't
one.
think, all I'll say is, I don't think death is the right metric.
I would argue that the gym is a place to keep people safe. This is a place where people come to build their immune systems, to build the strength of their body physically on the outside and the inside. We're being villainized as small businesses in general that we're responsible for the spread, but over 50% of the deaths are coming from places that are supposed to be under governors.
I understand, and there's no question, Frank. Frank, give me the chance, Frank.
16. We have had 15,009 visits to our facility, 0 positive cases. When you come into our gym, you actually stand in front of a biometric scanner that takes your temperature. You take a disinfectant pen, you fill out a health questionnaire, just like you would in a doctor's office. You take that pen and you put it in a dirty bin so we can actually disinfect it. You're handed a bottle of a disinfectant that is actually from an Ecolab that actually is proven to actually kill the coronavirus in 45 seconds.
Frank, that's not true. That's not true.
I lost my mother from this.
I'm very sorry.
Got it in the hospital.
I'm very
You're
sorry.
barking up the wrong tree.
I'm not
My
barking up
mother
any
got it
tree.
in the hospital.
Frank,
My mother got it in the hospital where they're supposed to protect.
I'm very sorry about that, and I'm sorry she got it. I'm sorry she succumbed to it. But I'm not attacking you for it. I'm saying that death isn't the only way to measure the risk.
What do you guys have to say to that? Do you think the gym is a proper place to build your immune system, and you think the coronavirus would go in 45 seconds, like the guy said?
I mean, I don't know how accurate his statement is about 15,009 people, if I remember correctly, have gone to his facility, and none of them have proven to be positive for coronavirus. So, I mean, that's a big number. And
Yeah. What he's saying is 15,000, but those are repeat people that keep on coming back and forth. So he can't say 15,000. He can't say 15,000 different people has come back, and you know what I mean. That's his numbers are off.
But he did make that statement, did he not, Mohammed? He said we've had over 15,000, and you're right. I never thought of it that way. The way I interpreted it is he said we had 15,009 people come to our facility, and not even Frank said, well, wouldn't that 15,000 be repeat? But Mohammed, you point that out, and that's a very good summation that is very possible. So his numbers are way off.
It's the honest truth. When someone goes to the gym, just a regular gym, they're not going to have 15,000 different people going to that gym. It's going to be repeat back and forth.
Yes.
Or it'd be different people if they had like a different location, like Good Life or Movati. You know what I mean? If it was,
at the end of the day, they broke a court order.
Yeah.
So they two wrongs don't make a right here. They defied a court order, and they should be charged. And as far as you just can't have people doing things contrary to what the law states you should do.
Yeah, gyms are an infestation for this COVID. Like, you're sweating, you're
big time.
But I think the gym is the best way to go for your immune system. I think it is. Working out, building your muscles, doing push-ups, workout, whatever. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that, Joe. I think we're maybe thinking on different levels here.
I think
it's not a clean environment. It's not a clean environment. These people are sweating. There's droplets that are being moved out in the air. So
I guess if you look at it that way, they're not all.
No, they don't have to be together. But droplets. I mean, the other day I heard droplets can move 30, 40 feet.
Of course.
So when you got people working out, I don't give a shit about the, excuse the expression, but the social distancing wouldn't work.
No,
and it wouldn't be worth a pinch of coon poop.
You're moving from one machine to another, and if you don't wipe it down and the gym employees don't move it down, it's gonna be a ripple effect, domino effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember in Winnipeg, when I lived in Winnipeg, going to the wellness place. It was called the wellness place. It was attached to a hospital, Seven Oaks Hospital. It was the state-of-the-art wellness place. And when I would go on an elliptical, for instance, there were always spray bottles there with a mild disinfectant. You had to spray down your machine. Yeah. You had to wipe it down. Like these were policies. You could not walk off a machine. And even if you forgot, there were people there that would remind you, hey, wipe down the machine. Yeah. But even with that said, Mohammed, it doesn't help. It doesn't help with the spreading of droplets that come from the humans. And there's always that higher risk that if somebody's infected, guess what? You could have a pandemic in itself in a gym. So I don't think it's a safe place to go. Yes, it might help to build the immune system, but certainly not at the cost of spreading droplets and potentially a virus that you might be carrying that's positive to other people in that facility. So I don't think it's a safe place to go, period.
You're right.
Not with this COVID issue being very prevalent amongst us.
See, one thing would be good. At that time, this is a few months ago, going back, and the numbers are a lot higher in the United States of America, is if, let's say, 100 people went in, right? And disinfect everything, go in 100 people, and then another 100 people come. But if everybody goes at the same time, if it's a big gym like Good Life, thousands and thousands of people, that's when the problems start. But I think if 100 people go in and they get tested, I think that's okay. Maybe I'm right. I'm not the governor. I don't know nothing about them. I'm not a doctor. But I would
if it were part in the machines and have the mask
if they clean down, disinfected, if they had to, they had no choice. I don't know. That's the thing. Like I said, that's another thing.
One can say. I mean, they did say that they have this temperature or whatever that they use. Call it whatever you want. How do we know that it's 110% foolproof that it works?
Not just that. Symptoms don't show up till 14 days after, so that's not even
that's true. Or you can be asymptomatic, Mohammed, and you can be a carrier that you don't get sick and you just spread it.
That's right.
So you take 100 people, Joe, and it takes one person that can be asymptomatic.
That's true.
And now we got a major problem, because now you have to have tracers. Government-approved tracers that can track each one of those individuals if, in fact, there was something that popped up 2 weeks, 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Now
we got a major problem that is untraceable.
We found a vaccine, actually. Russia did some research. President Vladimir Putin tried it on his daughter. Now, I don't know if it's true, but he tried it on his daughter. He said they found a vaccine.
Okay, well, hey, I'm going to stop you right there, Joe. You said Vladimir Putin. Yeah. I'll tell you something right now. I wouldn't trust anything that came out of that president's mouth.
That's right.
As far as you can throw him, because
if it's true, if he did, he is going to be the richest person in this world.
Well,
the United States of America is going to buy that vaccine from him.
No, they won't.
I don't think it's true.
No,
There you
I'm
go.
saying it was true. I don't know. I can't say yes or
I've
no.
been on this earth for almost 67 years. I don't think it's true.
No, you're right.
I can't
I
say
don't
yes.
know. You know what, Joseph? I'll call you Joseph. I love that name because that was my father's name.
What did you say on live?
Joseph.
Josiah? I can't remember what you said. You said something.
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. I
That's
like
my dad's name, which is Joseph,
That's like
which is Jesus's name. So it's a very powerful name. It's a very good name. And you know what? I know that your program is not for political use and to get that information across. But when I hear names like Putin and I hear, Trump and there's a lot of good people in this world, and those are just two names that kind of don't set right with me, especially Putin. And if you do some homework, you will really find out a lot about Putin, and it's not good information. No different than there's not a lot of good information on Trump. I can't call Trump a murderer, and I'll use that word with Trump, but I'm going to exclude any comment with respect to Putin. There's a lot of political and motivation with respect to Russia being at the forefront of this coronavirus and finding a cure. And it's all to do with this, the green buck.
Let me ask you a question. What if they actually did find a vaccine?
I'll believe it when I hear it, and when I see it. And not when I hear it. When I see it, I'll believe it.
Did you hear it? Did you hear the news that I heard?
I heard about it, and to me, it was propaganda.
Well, it's just like Trump drinking your.
Yeah.
Something funny.
Come on. Oh yeah, I drink it too.
What a dumb.
It cleans the immune system,
Okay, we can say he's a real dumbass, isn't he?
Actually, sorry, that's an understatement. Donkeys.
Well, we're being nice, Mohammed. We're being nice.
Anyways, everybody has their different views on different.
You know what? I think on a serious note, this world is in a real mess. A lot of innocent people have lost their lives. A lot of innocent people continue to be infected. A lot of innocent people, families with young children, the unrest about their children having to go back to school. How do you teach social distancing to 6 and 7 year olds? It's so complex and such a huge issue that if we're not careful as a species, all it takes is one big mistake, and it could annihilate a great portion of our population with this tragic pandemic that's before us. So I say that we really have to be careful. We really have to, we have to pray. For me, I worry about my grandkids, my 2 grandchildren in Alberta. And I worry about all the children because that's our future. And let's face it, Mohammed, we look at those children today and we say, my God, this world is there's such unrest.
Yeah.
What are we really going to leave behind for these kids? And Joe, I mean, in 30 or 40 years, I might just be a memory, but I can tell you something.
It will be more than a memory.
Well, I'm just saying that I will be a memory, but I'm really worried for you, Joe, because when you're 50 and in your prime, because usually we get into that prime between 40 and 50. It's a sweet spot for us young guys when we're at that age, because that's where you make your money, you build your families. Well, I don't even know. I can't even begin to tell you what you might be up against, because when I think about it at my age, I say, my God, I just don't really want to be here. I really don't. And that might give you something to think about, but I'm not fear-mongering you. I'm saying, you know what? Be cautious. Be wary of what's happening, because it's people like yourself and the people before you that are going to make this world what it is in the future. Because I won't have any control over it. Neither will your dad. So, the reality is that you got these guys that are opening up these gyms, and it's propaganda that we deserve to make a living. Well, you know what? I deserve to make a living.
Yeah.
I've made a good living, but I can't make my living anymore. So I'm kind of stuck.
You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to have a meal with your family.
Absolutely.
That,
I don't want the Trudeau government coming to me in 3 years from now and saying, "Hey, you owe us $10,000."
No.
You know what else? You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, "Yeah, well, come and collect it." I hate to tell you that, but come and collect it. You know, you gave away all this money because there was a lot of other people. If we want to get into another area of debt and the CERB changing into EI premiums, my goodness.
Yeah, Mike.
We are in trouble, gentlemen. We are in big trouble.
We are in trouble.
But
every single human being on this planet, especially in Canada, one of the best countries in the world to live is in Canada. Okay.
Yeah.
Country. We need to agree with each other and be Canadian. We need to go out and say enough is enough. Like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said, enough is enough. Go home, stay home. We need people like that, speeches like that, motivated people like that. And believe me, if we had leaders like that all year round, and especially in this world, we wouldn't be in the position we are today.
I understand. So if
It's
Justin,
true. Yeah, it is really. I'm telling you, facts.
then it'd be Canada, but have a donkey. Say, oh yeah, we can open up this. We can open up. That's why things are happening in the States, and that's why the numbers are blowing up like crazy.
I gotta disagree with you on that, actually.
Well, you just said it yourself.
No, but I'm talking about the American.
And Trump is not a leader.
Well,
no, Trump's in it for himself. Let me tell you, Trump is a businessman.
You have to watch series Epstein and see what the true colors of Trump is.
Trump is, exactly.
Watch that series.
Anyways,
and you know what, Mohammed? You know where that theory is going to come out? Through that lady that was his sidekick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We have yet to hear, and I hope they're watching her every second, 24/7, that she does not commit suicide. She has a lot of information that could really exploit and bring the truth to the American, to the Canadians, to the world, as to what really was going on there. And Trump, who says, I really don't know him, you know, he's such a lying scumbag.
Like I was saying, you know, when you got 10 times more people, you're gonna get 10 times more cases. Open or not open, you're gonna get a lot of cases. But I'm saying, when I'm going back to more, if we can all come together as a leader and as a country, we wouldn't have this problem today. Look at 2020. Seriously, look at it. We can be in a lot worse position. Look at Beirut. Look at Afghanistan. Look at Palestine. Look at China. Look at all these countries on a lot worse condition. And we're the ones that are complaining, and they're not complaining at all. They're just asking for bread and food. Why can't we be that? Why are we so selfish? It's because of this. It's called greedy. You know, like Tom Brady, he's greedy for money. If you want to put that into, you know, it's just sad. It's sad what the world is.
But you know what, Joe? With your statement about Prime Minister Trudeau saying enough is enough and this and that.
I like that. If people could, if every Prime Minister, President, I like that. You know,
Trudeau has systematically created a wonderful smokescreen to thwart the thinking of the populace, not looking at him, with Bill Morrow there, the finance minister, who stepped down, and his lady friend going in and now taking control. Let me tell you something. We still have not been given the real scope of the problem here, where Prime Minister Trudeau was in conflict of interest with the WE program, which involves millions and millions of dollars. So, he's got to be worried and concerned that at some point he has to come forward and admit. And I mean, what did he say about a month ago? I made a mistake. Bullshit, you made a mistake. You knew what you were doing. You didn't make a mistake. This was for money. You were involved in something that you shouldn't have been involved in, and your family's involved in it, and it's a completely a conflict of interest. And you can't say I made a mistake. That's like saying, you've got a gun in your glove box. The officer stops you for a speeding ticket, says, "Can I have your registration and driver's license?" You hand him his driver's license, then you go into the glove box and you pull out this gun and it automatically goes off and you shoot the officer. Oh, I didn't know it was loaded. It's the same bullshit.
Yeah.
You can't do things like that. Those are so hard-coded, and you have to know as a prime minister that you were breaking the law when you first created this program, and now your family's involved in it. You just can't do shit like that.
You're so right. So true.
We can't do things like that. And now, we're going to have this collection issue of all this CERB money that was applied for by many people that had access to the system. It's like the old saying, have you ever heard of kiting?
Yeah.
It's a legal term. You can go to a bank, you take an envelope, right? You take an envelope, you say you put money in this envelope, and you put it into the machine, the Insta-teller, and you punch in $5,000. Now, the machine understands that you punched in $5,000 and it goes into your account. But the reality of it is there was never $5,000 in this envelope, just a machine saying that $5,000 went into your account. Then you go to the bank and you write a check, and they basically cash the check.
Yeah.
It's the same type of analogy that I'm trying to create here. The government was giving away all this money to people that were applying for it online, but there was never any safeguards in place.
You know what's going to happen? They want it back.
Well, exactly. But you know what's going to happen, Mohammed? When they want it back, guess what?
They're not getting it.
80% of the addicts on the streets in any major city applied for it and got it.
That's right.
Now, can we blame them for getting it? Absolutely not. Who do you blame? You blame the government. Everybody's got a social insurance number. The government knows how much you've made, whether you're paying income tax at source, and whether you're not paying income tax. So how can you apply for the CERB if you haven't been employed for the last 2 or 3 years? How do you do that?
Yeah.
It's an error, and it happened. And here we are, like in trillions of dollars of debt that not even my grandchildren's children are going to be able to pay. Anyways, my blood is boiling all of a sudden.
No.
You hit a nerve with me, Joe.
You have a point, and I agree with you on some part. Some I don't, but I understand where you're coming from. And you know what? It's sad. It really is sad what we are witnessing in this country. It really is. We can't all be on the same page, and we will never be like that.
Yeah.
Everything. It's a dirty game. That's what it is.
It's a dirty game, and it's completely lopsided. And there's no rhyme or reason. Just in Toronto the other day, a little shack that sold for $2 million. And we wonder why we have a problem. I looked at this little shack, and it was it didn't even look 30 feet wide, and it looked as not even as big as my garage, and it sold for $2 million. You got to ask yourself, how is that possible? Who bought it? Where did they get the money? No wonder everything is so screwed up.
Hmm.
It's the land of the riches. It happens here too as well.
Look at this. I don't know how this works. You guys know about this? I think this is in Canada. Are these the numbers, Cecilia and our dad? Are these the numbers for the COVID cases?
Yep.
Well, numbers.
That's all of Canada.
Yeah.
So Is that like what are we live right now?
Is it still populating? It looks like it's still populating. Wait till that goes to August 21st, and then it should stop. All the numbers should stop. There we go. So as of August the 22nd,
that is not bad.
Well, when you think that what we have, 36, 37 million people, what is our population? Around there?
Yeah, 36, 37 million.
Okay, so 124,000 isn't that bad, absolutely. But look at it, look at Alberta.
Yeah.
By comparison to British Columbia.
Look at Quebec.
It's just incredible.
Quebec was doing so good for so long, and they went back to the old garbage with this coronavirus. They're doing so
Look
good.
at the Northwest Territory, like the northern hemisphere of our country, like 20 total.
What's this? What's this? 188. Where is this? Where are we? Is this British Columbia? British New Brunswick. Yeah, New Brunswick. Look at that. What? 188. How does this work? Yeah, 44. 1,000.
Okay, that's Nova Scotia that you just highlighted. 1,078. That's quite a bit.
You think so?
Well, look at the size of the landmass at 1,078.
That's a lot.
And then look at the landmass of, say, Manitoba, which is a lower area, 872. Look at the landmass.
Wow.
So when you look at that landmass and you go 1,078, holy crap, that's high.
Compared to Manitoba,
very high.
How big is what's the population for Manitoba, Cecilia?
You know what? I don't know what the population is, and I'm going to guess maybe 4 million, 3 million, 4 million.
Let's do a little Google on this.
Yeah, but that's a lot. 1,078 is a lot.
Yeah, huge. When you consider the landmass and the comparison.
The population for Manitoba is 1,369,000.
Okay, so I was way over. So, not even 1%.
Yeah.
Then you look at the landmass of Nova Scotia, they're at 1,078. Then look at the next landmass at 188, where we see 188, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is New Brunswick. So that landmass by comparison is almost the same, but yet it's like night and day on the numbers. So that only tells me something happened in Nova Scotia where, people probably weren't following the social health rules, and there was an outbreak, and that's what it represents today.
Yeah.
Crazy. And this is zero here.
Yeah. So what is that? Northwest Territories, Nunavut.
Zero. Let's all move there. Coronavirus will go there.
Yes.
That's crazy.
With us.
I beg your pardon?
We'll take it with us.
Yeah, we will. I was just saying. You know what? Eventually, this virus is going to be gone. It's not going to be totally gone, but it's going to be gone. They're going to have a vaccine. Dr. Anthony Fauci, they're still looking for, a vaccine for this. I watch the news here and there, Fox, CNN, CBC, our local station, London, and all that. And I can't believe it, with the doctors we haven't got this close for a vaccine. Like, we're trying all these different things. Quebec was trying to find this vaccine. I don't think they haven't found one yet. But they're finding, like, the doctors we have in Canada, especially North America, we haven't found at least something close to a vaccine. It's sad. It really is.
I think it's more political, Joe. And when you say the name Dr. Fauci, again, I ask you to do some homework and research. He has at least 50 patents that he has on the actual potential vaccines for that virus. He holds the patents. So if he holds those patents, why don't we have a cure? Because it's not worth what it is worth to him to provide those rights to that vaccine to give to the people that are producing the vaccines for research. He wants to keep that there.
You tell me he has a vaccine.
I personally believe that he may potentially have the vaccine, but he's not going to let them out. He holds the patents to them and the rights, and it's his business to keep them.
These pharmaceutical companies have a cure for everything, but do you think they're going to let it out? No, they're making.
No, of course not. Of course not, Mohammed. Because when it becomes more prevalent that it's really needed, guess what? The supply and the demand, which is so high, that's where they get the pricing from.
Of course.
So as long as as long as demand continues to rise like it is right now, we need the vaccine. But the more people that fall ill, the more we're going to need that vaccine, the more it's going to cost.
Yeah.
So right now, maybe for Mr. Fauci, $1 trillion is not enough for him. He needs $100 trillion for it to be worthwhile for him to let up the rights that he has to his patents, so that these places that have the scientists could run his patents and see if they work and are productive with killing the virus or slowing it down. It's all political, man. It's all money.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
Money is what do they say? What's that saying? The money is the devil.
Money is the root to all evil.
That's right.
Yes.
Money.
But you know what? I love money, but like I was saying the other day, I always talk this on my show. If there's a person down on the ground and there's $5 billion, I'd rather take him and save him, because a soul does not come and go. A soul's just there for its time. Money comes and goes. People say money doesn't grow on trees. No, it doesn't grow on trees, but you can make money. Well, that soul is just there for the time. That's it. So
yeah,
there's a lot of people who take money over people, and unfortunately, that's
not money. Greed. It's greed.
Total greed.
It's greed.
Total.
It's both.
Total disrespect for humanity.
It's like,
believe me, when they say money is the root to all evil, it's so true.
Of course.
People change. People that were poor, all of a sudden they come into money, they change. Their whole mindset, their whole systematic way of living changes.
They own this, they have this, they have this. You know what I mean? And this is what I say, make your money right. It's always good to give back and help your families out and help yourself out as well. But we don't see that. But there's still those little percent of people who do that, and I'm one of them. I'm not saying I'm perfect in life. I made a lot of bad choices in life, but I learned from them and I'm moving forward. Everybody makes some mistakes, Everybody makes mistakes. And it's good to make mistakes because you learn from them. Nobody's perfect in life. And the person thinks they're perfect in life, well, I'm sorry to say, you need to do some research, like Mr. Sicilian said.
Oh, you have to make mistakes in order to learn, Joe.
And it's good to make mistakes.
And yeah, of course. And as long as they're calculated mistakes, not stupid mistakes, there's a difference. There are calculated mistakes, and then there are stupid mistakes. And there's a lot of people in today's society that make a lot of stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Because of greed. It's greed. They are blinded by somebody's BS and tutorial about how something is going to. Joe, you and I had a discussion not too long ago, and I said, Joe, you need to do a lot of research.
Yeah,
and I sent you something to do.
Yes.
Did you look at what I told you? Did you do what I told you to do?
A little bit into it. Tomorrow I'm going to do the rest of it.
See? Okay, so now I caught you. I gave you a top. Hang on. You're the one that solicited me, and I said, you know what, Joe? You have to have both feet on the ground. There's no such thing as quick money. There is smart money, but you have to do your research. So I gave you a template, and in that template, I gave you the names of 5 or 6 blue chip, and then I said, you pick 2 or 3. and add, and then do exactly what I'm telling you to do. Go back to those charts and look what happened on March 16th. March 16th is a very synonymous and very important day for me in terms of investments, because I saw an opportunity on March 16th, and all my friends said, "You're nuts." I said, "You know what? It's an opportunity. These opportunities only happen 2 or 3 times in lifetimes. And they happen when there's tragic events, Joe. And tragic events spawns people that are in fear. They start selling off things. They're selling their cars. They're selling their stocks. They're taking money out of the bank. And then all of a sudden you see the markets do this. They nosedive. And on March 16th, there was a massive nosedive on the S&P in the markets. And all the blue chip stocks, there was a ton of money to be made. But as a man would say to another man, you got to have the balls to put on the line to understand something like that, and then sit on that and make your investment, make your move, and then just sit. And if people would have sat, and I showed this example to so many of my business partners, and I said to them, if you had $50,000 and you put it into these 3 blue chip stocks on March the 16th, today they're worth close to $250,000.
Yeah.
And it's still there, and it's still there, and that's just 50 grand, Joe. That's just 50 grand, you know. But what I'm saying is,
from March 16th, we got April, May, June, July.
Yeah.
In that small of amount, holy smokes.
Yeah. And you know what? I still continue to watch some stock that I purchased back then today, and people are saying to me, sell. I said, well, yeah, I've sold some, but I'm still waiting, because there's the euphoria about that second wave. Second wave.
Second wave's not coming.
I don't think it's coming, but we still have to be very careful.
We got to be confident.
And you know, 5G. I keep drilling into people. 5G. How is 5G connected with this coronavirus? Well, you know, we've all been told that the new norm is, hey, you know what? You got to stay 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. 6 feet apart. Wash your hands. 6 feet apart. Wash your hands. Don't go into crowded places. It's been drilled into our minds. 5G can track people, but not when they're in clusters. In other words, if you're 6 feet apart, guess what, gentlemen? 5G can track you. The government, Big Brother, can track you. So there's a connection there. I know it. I've invested in 5G, and they're already talking about 6G. 5G hasn't even been rolled out yet, but they're talking about it. The new phones are coming out. It's all going to be 5G.
The only 5G I had is 5 gigabytes on my iPad. You know, that's the only 5G. But no, I understand. I get your point. You're absolutely 110% right on this. You know. Yeah,
and I mean, and it's research. Okay. And you know, you got to school yourselves. We can't. In other words, don't take the word of somebody else. Look at it yourself, and you know, we can have another discussion, Joe. I'll walk you through it.
I want to bring this.
What's that?
I want to use this bottle for a sec. Okay, just think. When you fill this bottle up, right? It's full, 500 milligrams, right? You got one beside it that is about, let's say, quarter ways out. They're not balanced. One's on one side, the other one's on one side. So you're saying coronavirus, 5G, 6G, it's tipping over. They're talking about
you know what I think about, Joe, when you pick up that water and you said 500 milliliters?
Yeah.
Do you realize how expensive water is?
It is. Ask my dad. We go to the Budweiser Gardens. Believe me, we go to the Budweiser Gardens. $3 for a water bottle. You go to the Scotiabank Arena. $6 for a water bottle. I'm saying to myself, are you kidding me?
We're in the wrong business, man.
For food drinks, you know what I mean? And buy a 24 case for $1.99.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Even $1.09, even for that much, that's a lot of money. $2. Think about it.
It's a lot of money.
Free.
It's more expensive than gas. Think about it. It's a natural resource. Gas just doesn't come out of the ground. You got to get it out of oil. You got to refine it. It costs hundreds and millions of dollars, and it's mostly taxed. Water is a natural resource. You know how much water we have in British Columbia? Fresh water?
I'm coming up.
I'm not kidding you. You know what? I go to my tap and I drink water from my tap. It tastes fantastic and it's free.
That's right.
Let's do this. You want to hit this story quickly? We're running out of time.
I'm going to start bottling it and call it Boonie water.
Boonie water. I went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with a good friend of mine. I drank the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania water. Sicilian and that, it was disgusting. I'm talking about the water tasted like ginger ale that was flat for years on end. And I asked the gentleman, is this water normal? He says, yeah, it's absolutely normal. Say, this is normal. So I brought down actually a Canadian water bottle and I gave it to him. There's a Pittsburgh water here. I said, taste the difference. He said, this is gross. This is not water. They're used to the garbage water. They're not used to fresh water, spring water. You know what I mean?
They've acquired, the operative wording is that they've acquired a taste to that type of water.
But and
our water tastes like crap.
But you don't know what this, like, Sicilian, if you try the water, you would be blown away.
Oh, believe me, Joe, I've tasted water and I've tasted just recently when I was in Winnipeg, the water from my parents' tap, and it tastes like garbage.
Yeah.
I just, the difference between their water and the water out on the coast is very different. And hey.
You know what? Seriously, we can go on for hours and hours. And
absolutely. You know what? I got to say, I really enjoyed my time tonight with you guys. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it.
It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, Mohammed. And again, I was thinking about the serenity prayer, things that I always repeat and repeat. God give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and of course, the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah.
I say that to myself 20, 30 times a day. And it's just a statement that grounds me. And, we've got a lot of work, gentlemen. We got a lot of work ahead of us in terms of trying to keep our families safe, trying to stay safe, and hopefully that the world becomes a more safer place for our children and their children.
We have to protect our youths. We have to. We really do. Believe me, we do. There's so many people out there that care. They're just selfish. They care about themselves. Look at your children. You're losing your children, your ancestry. Come on. Wake up, Canada. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up, North America. You go to Toronto. So many homeless people. It kills me. It rips me apart. It's like I just want to go and feed them. I want to help them out. But I can't at the same time because I got to worry about Joe Booney, myself, and worry about my friend from Toronto, Chris Ricci, who's watching right now.
Yeah. Good old Chris.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say anymore.
There's nothing to say, Joe. It's just that, we had a good discussion tonight. We talked about sports. We talked about life. We talked about a lot of things. And that little prayer there could be the premises of a good way to end the broadcast. It's just something that we should remind ourselves that it's a simple prayer. It's there's nothing special about it, but the words are powerful. The words are very powerful.
You're talking about
the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know or understand the difference. I mean, that's so simple.
Yeah.
So simple, but
let's all just, take something from these words we said today and turn it into positive. And let's not move behind, because when a baby crawls, they crawl. They don't go behind. Some babies do, but let's crawl. Let's use our bicycle. No training rules. Let's keep marching forward. That's a great way to end it. But folks, I love you guys very much. I love your dad. You're looking good. Father in the show.
He's a good-looking man, Joe.
He is.
I see that the apple didn't fall too far from the tree.
No, it didn't. It did not. But
it's good meeting you, Mohammed.
You too.
Really good meeting you. I hope that we can have this discussion again.
I was a little quiet. I'm just a tired, long day.
I hear you. I got up at 5:30 this morning, and I'm an early riser, and I got to get into the market. I got to read things. I got to make decisions. I do analytics for another company to do with their legal files. So I got my work cut out for me here from home. So, I got to keep my mind working, because if I don't, once this goes to sleep, it's like what happened to my dad. He stopped doing things, and he didn't last very long. So, but that's part of evolution.
Right.
Right. Gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night. I think Mohammed looks like he needs to go and lie down and rest. We've spent 2 hours and a quarter together here.
Wow.
And thank you. Seriously, you are more than welcome to come on my show anytime. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful.
Thank you, Joe.
Every single day to have you. You are like my own grandfather, and I wish you could. And you're coming to my wedding.
You're good-looking grandpa.
Yes. You're coming to my wedding. Make that a promise to me.
I promise. I promise. I don't know what trouble I'll get into in Toronto, because I got a lot of contacts there, but I'm going to try and keep my nose clean.
We'll keep it clean for you. I got your back. Don't worry. Thank you, man.
All right.
Thank you. God bless you guys. It was a pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.
Anytime.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care, Dad. Take care, Sicilian.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Cheers. Well, you have Sicilian and you had my father on here. Before I leave today, I'm going to play some song called In My Dreams from Chris Ricci. This man is from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That is a wise human being that cares about every single human. I can't be thankful more enough knowing this guy. Not only he is my friend, but he's my brother. It's like Brothers of Destructor, the Undertaker and Kane, always side by side, tag team. Well, this man, he may not be my bloodline, but he sure is my brother line from a different mother. I want everybody to listen into the song called In My Dreams. Take a listen, take some wise words from this, and move forward. And then we have to leave, because Booney has to go to Goddard, Ontario tomorrow with a good friend to the beach. So listen in, guys.
All these lies are taking a toll on me. You still believe everything is meant to be, but this is slowing down, so we threw away the dream. Gotta let go somehow, just to be free. I've been a mess by myself. Seems like there's nobody.
I'm telling you guys, this guy's going somewhere.
I feel the rain falling down. My world seems so different now. But I don't want to do another run around with you. So I still see you in my my dreams tonight, thinking of the memories that we made for life. And everything back then, so long. I'll be thinking about you till the morning. I still see you in my dreams tonight.
I love you all, seriously.
All my sins are coming right back to me. I'm not the only one to believe in destiny. We grew apart, so we threw away the key. You gotta let it go, just to be free. Maybe we were just around. I tried to give you my love, but you turned away. I still feel rain coming down. How come you're so different now? And I don't even recognize you anymore.
How about those Blue Jays?
In my dreams tonight, thinking of the memories that we made for life. And everything back then, so long. I'll be thinking about you till the morning. I still see you in my dreams tonight.
That is a wise man that cares about a lot of people, a successful man that will go very far in life. And one day you will see him at the Rogers Center singing in front of 50,000 people. Believe me, the facts matter. I thank you all once again. Before we leave, we must stand up for the United States of America national anthem. Thank you all for tonight, seriously. To my fellow Americans and fellow Canadians out there, I can't thank you enough for the mountain and supporting the shows you do. See you soon. And everyone go to Chris Rucci Music on YouTube and give a subscribe and like an honest human being that deserves a voice to be on this planet. Deserves millions and millions of people to see. We will see you all next week. Thank you, guys.